Welcome to the latest edition of Anyone, Anywhere, Anytime with me, Marshan Kenny. Well, you're going to love today's interview. It's going to come with new Southern Miss head baseball coach, Christian Ostrander. So year one of the Sun Belt has been fantastic for Southern Miss sports. I mean, football had a bowl win and a winning season. Men's and women's basketball both had regular season championships in the Sun Belt. And baseball is just an absolute machine with hosting back-to-back super regionals. But it is the off season right now, and we're gearing up for football soon enough in a couple months. And I'm going to talk about football a little bit in the fan comments, and that's going to come in this next segment that we call 4 and Out. So recently on Twitter, I asked the Southern Miss Nation, what football game are you most excited about on the 2023 schedule? As always, I had a lot of great comments, but I only got to 4 because that's the name of this segment, 4 and Out. First up from Twitter, David Valentine said, Ragin' Cajuns football, biggest rivalry in the Sun Belt. It's the new rivalry in Dixie. Can't wait. Go. Hashtag SMTTT. Yeah, that's going to be a big game later this season. Avery Nobles from Twitter said, the Saturday before Thanksgiving, which is the Mississippi State game, us from here live in the middle of it. We went years without having the chance on the field to prove we were better after both of them took their ball and went home. So it's great to have that chance. May not get many more. Tip of the hat to them for playing, though. And yeah, home and home with Mississippi State's pretty dang cool. Looking forward to that game in Starkville later. Next up, Lisa Cohen Huff on Twitter said, the Tulane game. Want to see us win at home to keep the bell where it belongs in Hattiesburg. Hashtag SMTTT. Like the passion for the Battle of the Bell, Lisa, right there. And finally, Deshaun Walker at the One Daw from Twitter says, toss up for me between Tulane and Mississippi State, but it has to be the Tulane game. After beating them last year at their stadium with a home crowd of USM fans, and yeah, it was loaded with Southern Miss fans. And then they went on to accomplish what they did, which was top 10 ranking. And now they get to come to the Rock. So yeah, that's going to be a big, big game. Tulane at the Rock later this year. I expect a big old crowd there. Thanks for all the fan comments, and always keep them coming in, please. Well, as you know, this show is huge with interviews, and today's interview is going to be fantastic. It's with new Southern Miss head baseball coach, Christian Ostrander. Well, in the Southern Miss world, we recently got some sad news with the retirement of head Southern Miss baseball coach Scott Berry. But we quickly got some great news when we found out associate head coach Christian Ostrander, Coach Oz, is going to be the next head coach. So we're in good hands right there. And Coach Oz is my guest today. And it is an absolute honor to have you on. How's the world treating you, Coach?
Man, I appreciate it, Marshawn. It's good. I'm not going to lie, it's been pretty busy. Since our season ended last I guess early Tuesday morning. But it's great, man. Everything is going well, and very excited about this new role and attacking it, and taking it one day at a time.
Man, Coach, it was a matter of time before you're going to be a head coach. I mean, you've been our associate head coach assistant for a while now, but every time your name, an opening will pop up in America, we're like, damn, we're going to lose Coach Oz, because your name was a hot commodity. And when you got here, it was just such great news. I mean, 2-time Conference USA Assistant Coach of the Year, only coach to ever win that. Man, being the head man in charge right now, how's that feel?
Well, it feels great. This program speaks for itself. What Coach Denson, Coach Palmer, and Coach Berry, has done here, and to the success, and just how strong this culture is of the fan base, of the expectations, the success. I mean, to be able to be the next guy is tremendously humbling. But it's what I want in my career. It's what I want the bullseye on my chest. And, and I think that's very lucky to have that opportunity. And like you said, there's been opportunities, to do other things, but I knew what I wanted, and I kind of stood true to it, and stuck it out, and the good Lord had a plan. So very thankful.
That's awesome. And interesting dynamic here. I had our AD, Jeremy McClain, on a couple of weeks ago. You and him were teammates back in the day playing baseball at Delta State. And then you wound up being his pitching coach his senior year, and he goes 15-0. Now, Coach, can I ask you, was that 15-0 record of him on the mound your coaching, or was that his arm?
That was him. That was all him. By that year, he was my assistant pitching coach while still being a pitcher. knowledge field, and just an unbelievable pitcher for sure.
Oh, that's awesome, Coach. And you two working together. I know we had a hard time keeping that a secret for a bit, and when it was announced you'd be the coach, that was an awesome announcement. So, but man, you have deep Mississippi ties in baseball. Playing at Delta State, coaching there, and you were the head coach at Jones Junior College for 7 years prior to getting kind of a lot of D1 status. Your time at Jones, y'all won 2 Mississippi titles. You won 4 division titles. I mean, shoot, you're in the Hall of Fame there. I mean, how important was that run at Jones for you and really making a huge name for yourself?
I look back on, my career. It's kind of, my first 6 years of my career, I was an assistant, 4 years at, 6 years at Delta State University, and then 4 years at Arkansas State. So didn't know what I was doing, figuring it out, learning, at that time, but thankfully didn't realize it maybe at the time, but growing, and then I get to be a head coach for the next 10 years, 2 years at the high school level at Gulfport, then 7.5, almost 8 years there at Jones. And so during that time frame, I was able to really, to me, especially at Jones, kind of all the stuff I've been exposed to, the coaches I worked for and the experiences I had would help me. I was able to kind of put it all into play. And had a blast doing it, instead of just being a pitching coach that's in the dugout calling pitches, I ran the offense. I stood in the third base box. I had a blast with that. I think I grew as a pitching coach doing that because you're looking at things from a different perspective too, and stuff. So that time at Jones for me, I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't get that opportunity. And I truly believe that because I was really able to find my identity, as a coach and, doing that and very thankful for that as well. So that was some very valuable time for me.
Oh, it's awesome. Like I said, you built so many relationships through the years, especially with those Jones years that, it's going to make a good run here with recruiting, what have you. After there, though, man, at Jones, you wound up going to La Tech, a little rival for Southern Miss. So how was it playing the Golden Eagles while you were at La Tech?
Oh man. So backtrack quickly, I've always been a fan of this program. So when I was at Jones, I had players, Andrew Pierce, Ryan Milton, others that played here. And so I would come and watch, you sit in the stands and you realize, man, this is a good atmosphere. This is awesome. I was a college baseball fan, loved it. Well, then I go to Tech and now I'm in 2016, I'm in that dugout, the visitor dugout, wearing a different uniform. And I realized that, wow, this is really powerful stuff. These fans are honest. They don't like us. That right field area, the bullpen, I had to break up fights between my pitchers and the fans. It was raucous. And I remember my wife and even my daughters who were younger at that time they were like, why are they yelling at you? Why are they, like you'd hear, hey, 3-4, you're not in Jones County anymore, and stuff like that. And whatever. So I got a taste of it. And I tell that to recruits all the time. I said, I've stood in that dugout and I'm going to tell you, our fan base, they're electric and they get after it. And, it's a huge part of what we have here. And I think there's so many players that would say that as well, that have come through and played here.
Oh, that's awesome, Coach. And you had a couple-year run at La Tech, but something attracted you to Southern Miss to be the assistant head coach and then associate head coach here. What attracted you to come over to Southern Miss overall to be a coach?
Well, I mean, obviously, I've had the utmost respect for this program and, and the people that's been here and stuff and had a close association being down the road for all those years. I've had a relationship with Coach Berry a long time. Obviously not as deep as it is now, but prior to it, just having most of my career in Mississippi and his being at Meridian Community College and so forth. So there was common ground there. And for me to when the time came and that opportunity to come here, it was a no brainer. I mean, well, I say that I just moved my family from, Ellisville to Ruston. And then what was it? 20 months later, boom, this comes up. And I had a daughter who was going to be a senior in high school. And it was important to have her aboard. And I remember asking Caitlin, hey, if you're not good with this, we'll stay right here. And she said, Dad, I'm with you. So there you go. And everything's worked out great. But when that opportunity came, it was tremendous, and to come. No brainer, jumped right in, just tried to put my head down, do the best job I can.
Man, you did a great job too, Coach. I mean, probably the most respected pitching coach in college baseball during your run there. I mean, 5 All-Americans, Ferris Trophy winners. You had Conference USA Player of the Year winners. You had 1 National Player of the Year. Man, looking back, some of the guys you coached. I mean, how was that run? Because the accolades are just all through the roof.
Well, I mean, one, you got to have good pitchers. You know, you got to have talented guys, and they were here when I got here. There was some talent, and then be able to kind of bring in maybe some guys that that fit styles that I believed in, and or was attracted to. So it's a program, though, man. This program sells itself. The tradition to success. So when a kid gets a call from a Southern Miss coach, it means something to them. And yeah, sure, there's competition, and you're not going to get them all. But we get some good ones here, and have for years and years and years, and that's going to continue. The brand speaks for itself, and you can't just sit on that. You got to keep pushing it, and doing and working hard and doing things right. But I think all the success is a byproduct of what the program is and what it has been too. And but don't get me wrong, it's not easy, and we don't take anything for granted with that.
Coach, yeah, what a heck of a run. And I was fortunate enough to be at one of the biggest games in Southern Miss history on campus. If you ask me, the biggest win in the history of Southern Miss sports, an on-campus win, that LSU regional last year. I mean, to me, it'd be like Southern Miss football beating Alabama in football at the Rock in a playoff. Well, we beat LSU, more or less a playoff setting in Hattiesburg, man. What did that win mean to you? Because that was some next level stuff right there.
Man, that whole that experience and the stress of that tournament, the highs and lows of it, just the resiliency of it, it was unbelievable. It was special, and it was so special for our players that were out there actively a part of for this program, for everybody involved. But to be able to do it there for the fans, man, that was the reaction, the response, and just seeing the guys celebrating with the fans and the roost and just everything. I got chills right now talking about it. I mean, that's what it's about. And, and that's the stuff that, our players that get to be part of it. That's what the stuff they'll talk about with their buddies 20 years from now when they're at the beach with their, hanging out. I mean, things like that. And, but that was remarkable. I mean, to be at a really good program, a storied program of LSU, and which probably thought they'd walk in here and it not be quite as difficult as it was. So it was special in so many ways, and it was surreal. And there was a big exhale once that last sinker from Tyler Stewart got underneath that bat for the strike 3. It was special.
Man, absolutely. And, I know a lot of the guys celebrated with the fans in the stands, but a lot of the guys ran out to the right field roost and tried to climb the walls and get with the guys. Man, that right field roost, man, that's a special place. What's that place mean to you?
Man, I think it's the heart and soul of this, culture we have here with that. It's there. People know about it. You bring recruits in. I had a young man in last week that's played here before, and his dad said, yeah, his son gave up a home run. He said, I want to go pull that horn, and stuff, the horns of the roost. And so it's huge. It's well documented and things, and it gives an edge. It's a tough environment on visiting teams. And it makes a difference, but it's just the whole, I don't know. It's just something about it. There's a family atmosphere to it that I think is so important. That takes you back to the blue collar feel of things. And it's just, I don't know, it's what it is. It's what we are. And it's kind of sacred, to be honest with you.
That's a great way to put it. That's sacred ground out there. And I know we can attribute a lot of the fan hype to the right field roost, but man, if you don't mind me asking about one guy in particular who I think is very key to a lot of wins and knowing opposing pitchers, the throw it in the dirt guy, Coach. What are your thoughts on throw it in the dirt guy?
Well, I love throw it in the dirt guy. Bags is awesome, huge supporter, friend. Me and Coach Barry's gone on hunt trips with him, and I mean, just as great ambassador and supporter of this program. And it's awesome how that's kind of caught fire. And heck, I remember it's back in 18, 19, whenever it was in Biloxi. The conference tournament. You're hearing them, screeching that that call, and it's grown. You hear kids doing it. It's awesome. It's fun. So big part of the success for sure.
Heck yeah, man. And it affects pitchers. I don't care what people say. That guy really makes a difference. So, but man, coach, back to back host of super regionals, winning back to back regionals against SEC teams. I mean, we've just turned into a national powerhouse. But coach, I got to ask you, what do you think it's going to take to get that next step and make it to Omaha?
Well, I mean, that's tough. It's a tough step. I mean, that's why there's only 8 teams in the country to get it. And if it wasn't tough, then it wouldn't mean as much. And we see how big it is. We see how big college baseball is, Division I big boy baseball. It's a grind, man. But we have found the kind of the formula through the scheduling models, through this and that, to hopefully give us a chance. Now we got to do our part and win games on the field. But I think we're in a league and we're in a location, and with our scheduling model, that if we do that, then we will have a chance to be in that hunt at the end of regionals, of hosting regionals, of having a chance to host supers. And it's much easier to win it at home than it is on the road. For sure, that's obvious. But to get over that hump and stuff, you just got to keep putting yourself in those positions. And again, it's not easy. You don't take it for granted, and what it takes on the field and stuff. I think we know what it takes on the field, and some years you're going to have it all come together. Some years injuries or draft or whatever can disrupt it, and just when you think you had the pieces in order. So it's a tough grind, but I think we have an idea of what that blueprint looks like, and we just got to keep working hard to put ourselves in that position.
Oh, yeah, coach. And the beauty of your hire, I mean, there's no doubt in anybody's mind. I mean, if there's one guy going to lead us to Omaha, eventually it's you, man. So I just know that 100%. But speaking of the draft, you mentioned that a little bit. I mean, the ace on the mound, Tanner Hall, man. I mean, literally one of the greatest pitchers in the history of Southern Miss baseball. Man, what are your thoughts on Tanner and heading on to that major league draft and possibility not coming back?
Well, he deserves it, first of all. And I love that boy. It's just a 5-year relationship, 2 years recruiting, 3 years here. And, so you're so invested in him as a person, first and foremost. So you want success. Obviously, if he gets that opportunity, which I think he will, and he's gone, it's bittersweet. But that's what you want. That you want to bring young men in here and help them grow and realize their dreams, and stuff. So be very fortunate for that. But he will no doubt go down as one of the, best ever done it here. You look at his career numbers here, they're strong, and and well done. I mean, he helped us get to places that we, haven't been consistently before. So he's left his mark and legacy, and it'll be up for somebody else now to say, I want to be the next Tanner Hall. And that's the message to these recruits when I talk to them. Hey, you be that guy. And because it can be done. So, but he's great job by him for sure.
Yeah, great Golden Eagle, great ambassador for us for the future, man. So kudos coaching him. And coach, I want to ask you something, man. I'm pretty fascinated about this aspect of the game. I'm an old football guy. I played linebacker, but I had 11 other guys around me on the field. A coach never came on the field, and everybody's watching at me, looking to take me off the field. Everybody's watching. Maybe I should stay. So what I'm getting at, man, there's a dynamic of baseball. You were a pitching coach and one of the best to ever do it. Man, when you're walking to the mound, that long walk, and that pitcher's not doing very well, man, but it's borderline, he's got to come out, or he might stay in. Man, that borderline conversation right there, all eyes on him, all that pressure. I mean, how's a conversation like that go? Or, just kind of when it's borderline, he might want to come out, or maybe I'll keep him in.
Well, in those moments, which I would say probably majority of the time I'm going out, I know what I'm going to do, but there is a few that you're at that threshold, and like you said, that borderline, and you just want to see it. You want to look in their eyes. You want to look in their eyes. You want to see that true emotion, and at times where they say, hey, you're not taking me out. This is mine. I got this. And there's some guys that are going to do that. And you look at them, it looks like, dude, you're beat down. I see it, man. You're gassed, and I love the chivalry. I love that. But this team's first, and stuff. So it's a feel. It's a relationship thing, knowing your pitchers, knowing them their honesty, are they just saying it because they're Warriors, or are they saying it because, no, this is mine, so I think it's a field give take thing a little bit, but yeah, sometimes I ain't gonna lie, I'm walking out there and I'm sure in my mind, I got 1,000 things going on, all right, what do I need to do here? And sometimes you just got to trust your gut.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of those moments, man. I do feel for a pitcher. I mean, it's one of the most intimidating moments I ever see for a pitcher. Guys are proud, confident guys on the mound, but man, things aren't going well. Here comes coach. Here comes coach. So that walk is long, man, but you got a job to do. But
Sure.
thanks for getting the mind of you right there. What happens? And man, speaking, recruiting's a biggest part of the job there is probably. I heard you were recruiting the day after the super regional, man. And but with that said, man, what are some personal traits besides talent in an athlete that you look for in a player?
The intangibles to me is we try to really do our homework on that and find out who is this kid? Is he, is he a selfish? Is he consumed with himself more? Is he team oriented more? Some characteristics off the field, I think, because those obviously carry on into the locker room and onto the field. You just try to get as many opinions and talk to as many coaches, not just the summer ball coach, but talk to the high school coach, talk to people you trust, and just try to find out, who is this young man, and is he going to fit what we do here? Because there is a fit, there's a culture here. And it's very important you don't disrupt that, and not saying that, we're always, 35 for 35, we're not. But it's weird. And when you have strong cultures, they tend to weed themselves out. That some way, somehow, over time, it's going to be like, it just doesn't fit. And it's just like, like that grass snuffing out a weed that's growing in it, it's going to happen. And so for us, it's important to find out those intangibles, and the traits that I look for is somebody, they got to love baseball. You got to love it. You got to love the practice. You got to love to play it. You got to have an extreme love for the game if you're going to do well at this level. Because if not, it'll kick you in the teeth because it's long, and stuff, and it's daily. So that's one thing that's important. Their work ethic, their toughness, and not barroom fight tough necessarily, which I don't mind that either. But but the toughness of just, they can handle adversity, man, and that's why you try to go watch guys so many times. Great story real quick on that. Tanner Hall recruiting him, remember Coach Kai at that time saw him pitch once, really good, loved him. I saw him pitch another time, and it wasn't great, but it was good. Then I saw him pitch a third time on the third eval, and it was terrible. But that kid was the same guy when it was great, when it was good, and when it was terrible out there on the mound. Kept competing. Arguably, I probably saw his worst game he pitched, and I left there and offered him that night because I said, you handled the adversity, you did everything, you showed it to me, and so you fast forward however many years, those are things we saw and stuff that he kept going, didn't matter and stuff. So those intangibles are really important for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Great story right there. Thanks for sharing that too. And a lot of changes with being a pitching coach, big focus is pitching through the years. And I read something where command over the zone versus velocity of the pitch has become more important. I mean, is that a statement that's true, or, it just seems like a little bit changes with the techniques and just what you know with pitching?
Yeah. Well, for me, it is. Don't get me wrong. I want guys to throw it as hard as they can, but if they can't throw it over the plate, it doesn't do a whole lot for you. So for me, pitchability, strike percentage, command is one of the most important things I look forward to. I feel like I can get a high school kid in here that has feel to pitch, and I can help him grow, get stronger with Coach Mack in the weight room, get on our arm strengthening program, long tossing, pre-throw program, post-throw program, and we're going to help him grow. But he already has the ability and the feel, and I think it's feels what it is to pitch. So you get that, and you let him grow, then you get some things that like, oh baby, this is pretty powerful. Versus going and getting the guy that has the velo or the power now, but he has no feel to pitch. In my career, I haven't done well with those guys, and I'm not a good enough pitching coach to teach feel to 18, 19, 20-year-olds. They got to have some element of it, in my opinion. I think we can help them, but for me, it is. That's what I look for. In this day and age, though, everything's harder. It's so much velocity out there, and that's great. But I think, we kind of showed this, last year we had a lot of power on our staff. This year it was more pitchability. And so we have some guys with power, and it just shows you can get to the end. There's multiple ways to do it, and so you just got to integrate what you don't feel and believe in.
Yeah, and that was the beauty kind of Tanner Hall. It was fascinating to watch, especially that angle on TV when you could see him when he's just controlling. These guys are just guessing, and it's just fun to watch when a pitcher's in the zone and really commanding that zone. So great take right there, Coach. Now, obviously, you coach it, man. It's a new day and age with transfer portal and NIL, man. Just it is a new day and age. I've always been a guy. I think players should get paid. I've always been like that. But with the combination of those two, man, what are some of the positives and maybe challenges of working with the transfer portal and NIL with recruiting?
Well, I think it is what it is, and you got to adapt. You can't say, oh no, I don't like it, or we're not going to do that. You'll get passed. So you got to roll with it. My vision with it is I don't ever want to be a program that relies on the portal. I don't want to do that. I want to get high school players, young guys, and add some JUCO pieces that we like, but get guys and let them grow in the program. I just believe that model works. I think we've seen it work and stuff. But that said, when now with the portal, the thing that you can do, you can be specific. If you have a need, if you feel like the draft's fixing to take away this, or this, and there's not a guy ready to step in there, you have an opportunity of going into that portal and trying to find that guy. There's a lot of competition in the portal. I mean, it's unbelievable the stories I could tell you that you hear about things, and now you throw that NIL thing with it. It's a market. That's what it is. It's a market now, and it's a business, and it's a market, and there's people that have unlimited resources, and they can do whatever they want in that market. And there's some that has limited resources and some that has none that are trying to figure out how to get in there. And I think we're a place and program, and we're already doing it. And there's people out there that's wanting to help, that our collective, our To the Top initiative or collective is able to provide some of that stuff for our athletes, and stuff. But again, I go back to the fact of, I don't know. I don't think I would do well with being a program that just tries to go and get players, get players every year, having to do that cycle. I like the relationships. I think the growth, I think that stuff helps keep consistency. And I think that's what's been done here and will continue. But we're also going to be a player in it as well. And we are right now.
Yeah, Coach, it's something awesome right there. The NIL, it's here, and it's very important to Southern Miss. I'm glad you said that. The To the Top collective that Southern Miss has put together. If you have the means, if you have the ways, support there to keep this talent here and really attract talent. It is vital to the organization. And anybody savvy to college sports, To the Top collective, and DM me or whatever. I hope you find it if you don't know where it's at. So good call right there, Coach. And you hit the transfer portal fantastically, man. I saw a big name recently, man. That shortstop position so important. Ozzie Pratt out of BYU, man. People are buzzing about him. So how important of a catch was he?
Well, I think, we felt like we needed to add another middle piece, very high probability Dickerson's gone, and stuff. And we had some good pieces in place, but not enough. That you can't be thin, weak there in the middle, So when that opportunity came up, and we got some history on that young man, knew his family pretty well, and remembered him as a player, great player. So it was a good fit. He's a baseball junkie. He's a grinder. He loves it. So I think he's a good fit. And we were excited about that. There was a lot of competition for him. I mean, there was a lot of competition, but he believed in what we had to offer. He believed in, he knew what Southern Miss baseball was about, and he wanted to be a part of, getting back closer to home and being a program that wins and having an opportunity. So it was a good fit both ways around.
Yeah. Dickerson's done such an awesome job at that shortstop position, man. And I'd say, I'm an old football guy. And one thing I loved about Dickerson, man, he's one of those guys you want on your side. If there is an alley fight or a bar fight, we kind of hinted about that. He's salty, man. He was. Yeah. How is it working with a guy like that, man? He's just always got this look, man. He's just salty. He's tough, man. Dickerson's as tough as they come, man.
He's confident. He's got confidence. He plays with swagger. The other team can't stand him. because of that. But his teammates love him.
Yeah.
And you want, that's who you want on your side. That's him. That's, and sure, there's sometimes we'd all go, oh, come on, Dusty, let's go, man, Tony, but that's who he is. You take that away from him and he's not the player that he is. But what people don't know about Dusty as much, and the outsiders, is that dude absolutely loves to play baseball. And I know it shows. I know you're not surprised at that, but I mean, a guy with that much talent and stuff, he's a kid that loves to play baseball. And he's good at it, and he's got a great IQ and stuff, and it means a lot to him. That boy has the tears that that he shed, after we got, those were real, man. That was, because he loves this program, he loves the whole everything, doesn't want to leave, but knows, hey, this is part of it. So very emotional but that tells you, that means something was right, and stuff, and that's what you want, and it's not like that everywhere. It really isn't.
Yeah, he was just a fun player for me to watch. He just had grit, that salty attitude, man. He just epitomized kind of that chip on your shoulder Southern Miss attitude. But it's it's good we got to replace him just in case, no more Dickerson for the future. But great job right there with the pickup. Hey man, being a pitching coach, one more question there. Pitchers on the clock now with the 22nd, even if runners aren't on the bases anymore, there's still a 20-second clock. How's that affected your philosophy with coaching pitchers?
Well, thankfully, they allowed us to use a different form of technology with pitch signaling. If they didn't have that, I would hate it. So, in the past where you're doing numbers or talking to the catcher gives an sign to the pitcher, a lot can get lost in translation. You might have pitchers that don't see the sign well at night. Another element, just a whole bunch of yuck, when you're thinking, oh man, I only got 20 seconds, you got to roll. But with the new technology and that they allowed now, that you saw the guys wearing that wristband, they look down and a number comes up, the catcher's wearing one, pitcher, and it's all coded. So whatever we type in, there's it instructs them to do a certain pitch or location. So that sped it up. So now with that, the 20-second clock to me is obsolete because of that. It's very easy now. I'll go back to, game 3 against Tennessee. Nico was out there, and I give my pitchers the right to shake. They have the right to shake. Some of them, like Tanner Hall, I don't think he should. He might have shook 2 pitches in 3 years here, and stuff. But some of them are a little bit more, and that's fine. I might ask him why, and we get educated, get on the same page, because I want them to trust and just trust the execution more than anything. But Nico shook, we're like going, good grief, what does he want? What does he want? Well, 20-second clock's going off. On the walkie-talkie, the coach said, hey, call timeout, because we were fixing to get a ball. And so we did, and whatever, get on the same page there after that, and it worked. So you can run into it in that regards, but that would be a very rare exception now with the means that we have to call in pitches.
Oh, gotcha, Coach. Good take right there, because it's fascinating with the clock speeding things up a little bit, man. Now, Coach, Scott Berry's leaving, you're taking over him, and we're so blessed to have you taking over this program. Man, how was that kind of final goodbye for Scott Berry, kind of passing of the torch?
It's emotional, and it was there was a lot of emotion. We knew about this a while, internally, and for me, I wanted him to go out good so bad. I was like, and then I was worried about the team a little bit, the staff. Did we have enough? Are we going to figure this out? I mean, we were kind of there, and then, just a blessing to be able for us to come together like we did, and to be able to send that man that deserves it to be out really on top, and stuff. And I mean that, that was a motivator to me. The players didn't know about it till very end. We knew about it for a while. And that was important to me, and stuff, because he deserved it so much. But, a lot of emotion we all saw, wrapped up when his announcement came out, and that last weekend against Lafayette, and hoping we would get a chance to get back. And, the Lord's watching, Coach Palmer's watching, those angels were watching, and we were, and I think, and it was fitting. And of course, it would have been nothing better than to win that third game, and last game on the field, he wins. And, but that wasn't in the cards. And, but the opportunities and the success and the way it went out was was tremendous. And me personally, my relationship with him is like a brother. An unbelievable man that's, I can't think of a better person to work for. I really can't. There's not a bad thing you can say about him and so forth. So it's been a pleasure with that. And it's emotional, the fact, you're going to miss, the normalcy of this, but like I told he's going to be around, he's going to be here a lot and want, rightfully so, and want him to be. And I'll continue leaning on him to the final game that I coach, and so forth with it. But it means the world to me that he believed in me to be the next guy too. That endorsement was more important to me than anything that I've gained in my career. I promise you that. So, very, very excited about the opportunity ahead.
That's powerful, Coach. Thanks for saying those good words about Coach Barry. I had him on this show early on when I was launching this show. And man, what he said about you, the feelings are so mutual. I mean, Coach Oz is a great coach, great leader, but more important, a great human being, man. So we're in good hands for the future, everybody. I know that. Now, Coach, I want some of the fans watching this maybe get to know a little bit more about you, man. Maybe some off the field stuff whenever you have some free time, which is probably not a lot. Man, what are some hobbies, some things you like to do off the field?
Pretty simple. Bass fish and deer hunt. So that's my two hobbies. Not a golfer, not any of that. I love being outdoors. And for me, like I said, if I can just go get in a boat, get in a pond, and throw a line, that's therapy. And or go sit in a deer stand in the cold months, that's therapy. And so that's it. Spending time with my family. I got my girls are older. I got 23-year-old, 19-year-old, and 23-year-olds out of the house doing their own thing, teaching in Oak Grove Middle School, and my youngest one's going to be a sophomore in college. So me and my wife have more time to just spend together and so forth, and that means a lot to me as well.
No, that's awesome. Thank you, Coach. Thank you for the family update. I know they're proud of dad, wife's proud of husband for everything you're doing, man. Kind of in closing for this show, what are some closing comments you got for the Southern Miss faithful watching this for the future of Southern Miss baseball?
Honestly, this program doesn't need a blood transfusion, doesn't need, it's not an overhaul. It's a continuation of what's been done here and not disturbing things. But that said, and this is how I am, I always believe there could be more. I always believe that we can do more. I always believe that we could be better at something. I don't know what that is, but we're gonna turn everything over and look over every stone and see what we can do to be more efficient at something or a little bit better and stuff. So this is a high profile position and job, and I know that, and I'm excited about that. And I know there's a lot of people that this program means a lot to, and that doesn't scare me at all, and stuff. Like I told you, that's what I want. I'd rather have this situation than be in a program that you beat your head against the wall to try to win. That's not what I can do, what I do and stuff. So we're gonna put a good product out there. We're gonna do what we've been doing. They're gonna be first class. They're gonna represent this program and this university and this community in the first class manner. We're gonna be blue collar. We're gonna have the grit, and we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna work at it, and we're gonna do all that stuff. But you've got my word, and the fans have my word that we will do everything in our power to put the best product on that field every time we put a uniform on and get out there. And we look forward to doing that.
Wow, Coach, great message for the Southern Miss fans right here. And I promise you, everybody, we are in tremendously good hands with Coach Oz leading things for the future. So, but Coach, I can't thank you enough being on my show today, man. Absolute honor to have you on. And I think a good thing for us, maybe to close for the Southern Miss faithful, will be Coach Oz and myself, maybe giving everybody a Southern Miss
to the top. Appreciate
you, Coach. We'll definitely catch up soon.
All right. Thank you, Marshawn.
Well, I enjoyed catching up with new Southern Miss head baseball coach, Coach Oz right there, and I look for a bright future in baseball ahead. Well, that's it for another edition of Anyone, Anywhere, Anytime. And if you're watching this on YouTube, we're still on that push for 1,000+ subscribers as YouTube limits us to what we can do. I mean, we're almost there. But if you haven't subscribed yet, please go to our YouTube page, Anyone, Anywhere, Anytime, and press that subscribe button. It's absolutely free to do and take a second out of your day. Well, until next time, as always, it's Southern Miss to the top.